Okay, I'm going to look into this issue on cybersecurity. All right, that's what everyone is here for. Now, basically, this is basically a skill set job that is highly in demand because we do see that the need for cybersecurity is massive. All right. It doesn't matter whether you are in networking or you are basically writing apps as a developer or writing games for phones, right? Even sensors, IoT. It doesn't really matter where you are, as long as you are dealing with information, you are dealing with technology, or digitization of some sort. Basically, you have to deal with cybersecurity. So it is not surprising to find that one of the key concern of almost every industry that you can think of today is that cybersecurity is on the rise, and it will continue to be on the rise. Okay, so it's most likely, as what I mentioned to a lot of my students, it's most likely going to be one of those next generation wave of IT job that is just going to stay. All right. But just because there is a massive need for it does not mean that everyone is actually suitable to go into cybersecurity. And well, unfortunately, this is actually true. Now, I started to go into cybersecurity officially in 2005, 2006, something like that. And I've been training myself, all right, taking up courses, as well as teaching, all right, training, conducting workshop. So after more than 10 years of conducting workshop, training, all right, and I sort of managed to see some of my students actually progress, go out into the market, and of course some do well, some doesn't do well, some doesn't go into cybersecurity, some even left the IT industry. But I noticed there is a common factor, right? A certain type of student seems to be very well suited into this cybersecurity profession, or this cybersecurity industry, if you can call it an industry or subsector. So after all this time, all right, monitoring them, seeing how they progress, I now know what actually it does take for someone to thrive or do well in cybersecurity. So that is why I'm actually sharing this with everyone here. Now, I break down into three things, all right, that I think everyone will talk about, or probably you have heard about it already. Firstly is definitely you need knowledge and you need skill. Now, there's nothing new, all right, because you do need to know how things actually work. All right, you need to know how codes actually work. All right, you need to know some programming language if you're really going to write some tools. Okay, you need to know how a network works. All right, what goes on behind it. All right, how do everything communicate, works together. And you need to know how to use the tools. All right, you need to know how to get things to work together. All right, so the element of knowledge and skills is still there, just like any other industry that you like to join. And well, you can buy a book, you can join your workshop, you can go through some formal education, formal training, or leading to some certification, diplomas, degree, and beyond. Right. But beside that, just having knowledge and skills is really not the defining factor of what makes a good cybersecurity professional. All right, because I run courses on it, I teach a lot of students over the more than 18 years now. All right, and out of these 18 years, basically since 2006, basically we have covered more than 10 years of cybersecurity related courses. But those that do well actually comes down to this letter over here, which is attitude. And this is the one that set apart the good cybersecurity professional from the rest. So this is where I want to talk about basically. Alright, what type of attitude do you actually need to be suitable for a position, alright, a job, or to be in the cybersecurity profession, alright, as a consultant or as a tech guy? Okay. Well, from all those that I've seen and all those that I've trained and all those that are running their own consultancy firm right now, alright, at businesses as so forth, I realized, well, firstly, of course, computers are still to some degree based on logic, so they tend to have some very strong sense of logic. So a good way to judge is basically maths. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people don't like maths, but maths is a very IQ type of subject, alright, and they do train you on logics, so you should be able to see step, process, and so forth. But beside this basic logical skill, or I will say the idea of having just a logical thinking or logical set of thinking, you have to be willing to accept change. Now, well, let's think about it. Version. There are new version coming out. There are always new models of phones. Alright. There are new technology almost every few years. People are talking about something new. Alright. So all this will change the way things work. It will change the digital landscape itself. Alright. And all these change will affect the cybersecurity professional, because they are going to be adopted by company, they're going to be adopted by organization, and they are going to be adopted by user. So a person that is going to be in the cybersecurity arena must be willing to accept this fact that things changes, and it changes very, very quickly, especially in the cybersecurity field. And unlike software that changes probably every 2 years, you probably see a major change, although they do patch and they do have minor bug fix and update, but the major change actually occur every 2 years. Well, cybersecurity tend to move faster, a lot faster, sometime only between 12 to 18 months. So the cycle is actually very fast. So you have to accept that whatever you do today, probably a year from today or a year and a half from today, basically it's going to be a different thing. It's going to be some major changes on the frameworks, on the API, on the technology, and so forth. And those that actually do very well are those students or those learners or those adults that are basically very curious. How does it work? Why does it behave this way? Alright, what if this happened? What if I change this? Okay, will it still continue to function? So students, learner, or those that attend workshop that have this curiosity, alright, tends to do very well in the cybersecurity field, because they want to know how things work, And by understanding how something actually works, basically means that they can get down to the fundamental of, hey, this is what it was designed, but if I disrupt something here, could there lead to a vulnerability? Could they lead to something that I can exploit, a gap in the security, or can I trick the system into thinking something else? So there is some sense of curiosity. And basically the point over here on continuous learning is, well, basically tie back to the changes that you're going to face. All right, there will always be new vulnerability, there will always be new malwares, all right, there will always be new technology. All right, so, well, unfortunately, you need to know what they are, you need to know how they work. So you just have to keep updating yourself, either formally or informally. All right, you could read up, you could join workshop, you can talk to friends. All right, there are massive amount of resources on the internet. All right, but just make sure you get the right data, you get the right information, because there are certain websites that don't really give you the correct information that you want. And you need to be persistent. All right, the people that does well in this sector, which is cybersecurity, they are very stubborn. All right, not a very nice word to use, but it is true, because they don't give up. But they will try one method, see whether it works. Okay, they will record it down. All right, this failed, it doesn't work. Can I try another approach? Is there another approach? Is there another tool? What if this is done differently? All right, they may want to write a tool, all right, but they couldn't get the tool to actually work very well. Okay, they don't just give up like that. They will keep on trying, they will put it aside, they will think on it, they will come back, and that's the way it is. All right, so if you feel that you tend to fall into this majority of what is mentioned here, or you're okay with change, all right, you're not fearful of it. Okay, you see, okay, there's a new opportunity, or you see a problem, and then you don't give up, and you say, all right, there is a problem, how do we solve it? Okay, you see it as a challenge. And if you are always trying to learn new things, you enjoy learning, you enjoy finding out things, okay, and you, even through Google, right, you will Google things that you don't know, okay, and I believe you are there, or at least as far as the personality is concerned, you are there. Okay, you are the type of person that will suit into the cybersecurity industry. What you probably lack is just the knowledge and skill, which technically you can pick up over time. All right, so hopefully, with this being said, you find yourself in a very interesting and very exciting field of cybersecurity. Okay, then, well, all the best. Okay, and, well, we'll see each other again.